Today you're going to work on the activity called Classify This. So we know that classification is one of our science skills, which is grouping a variety of objects into different groups based on only one characteristic or trait. Keep that in mind. It allows us to understand the relationships between the objects or the data a lot better when we group them. So a lot of you already group things in your home, such as in your room. You probably group your clothing into different drawers, or maybe in your closets you might categorize by short sleeve shirts, long sleeve shirts, shorts, etc. So checkpoint. Why can't I make a group or subgroup of odds and ends, random, or miscellaneous? So we all know that we probably have maybe one or several of these drawers, cabinets, locations in our home where it's kind of a catch-all. We don't really know what to do with the item, so we throw it in, for lack of better words, this drawer, cabinet, or area, and it just accumulates into things that we're not exactly sure what to do with. For example, I have one of these in my kitchen, and I also have it on my staircase. For some reason, the staircase seems to be the catch-all for items that we're not exactly sure what to do with, but we need them. So please answer that question. So let's look at task number 1. It says, take the following 21 liquids and classify them into 4 different groups, the squares, and then group them by similarities or how they are alike. So we have, of course, the 21 different liquids. I'm not going to read them to you, but you can see that, of course, there are a variety of different liquids that we have in our world today. So let's take a look at the back of the first page. So on the back of the first page, you'll see how we are going to categorize them. So basically, we need to split it into 4 groups. Group 1, Group 2, Group 3, and Group 4 based on a characteristic. Only one characteristic. So let's say that I am going to group them by colors. So I'm going to group them by colors by, let's say, red, orange, yellow, and green, and dark colors like blue, purple, and maybe black. And then clear. All right, so if I look at my objects, or my liquids, let's do red and orange. So I would say red and orange juice. So I'm going to put OJ here. So I can cross that off. Blood. And I think that's it for that group. Now, some of you might say, well, food coloring might go in that group. I think it actually goes in another group, because when I use food coloring, I actually kind of stick to different colors than maybe red and orange. So then what you're going to do in these 2 circles is separate them again. So we have orange juice and blood. So maybe we can say consume and don't consume. These are just ideas. Please don't take mine. So obviously we can consume, OJ, but we really can't consume blood. Is it okay if I do my 2 groups opposing that both blood and OJ go in one group? Absolutely. And it might not have something in another group. And then I would continue on going through my list how I would best classify the object. Okay? So on this page, what you're going to do is you're basically going to describe the characteristic that unites each of these squares. So my first square was based on colors of red and orange hues that make up the liquid. And then I would continue on. Now the last page is getting ready for Halloween. So this is a map that I found state by state of the most popular candy when asked of the public. You'll see that we have a variety of different candies. For Illinois, our favorite by popular vote was the Kit Kat. So what you're going to do is you are going to classify the candies into 2 groups and then into 3 groups. So maybe one of the ways that you're going to classify the groups is based on texture. So smooth / chewy, hard, or rough, kind of in your mouth. And then I go through the list and I would write down, so I think Twix would go in here. The minis, the Hershey minis would go in here. Skittles, I'm going to say Skittles is a little bit more here because they have that crunchy coat, but some of you might disagree with me. And then I do a different characteristic, breaking them into 3 groups. Hope this helps a little bit. Describe what you need to do for this activity.